What's up, Guardians, and welcome to my weekly Xur builds, a series that aims to create a Gambit build for each class out of the exotics Xur has on offer every week. These exotics may or may not be the best builds or even work at all, but damn it, I'll build them anyway. This week, Xur comes to us with the following exotics. For the weapon, Skyburner's Oath for 29 legendary shards, Hunters can purchase the Lucky Raspberry chest, Titans can get Actium War Rig chest, and Warlocks are offered Karnstein Armlets. As always, each armor piece is priced at 23 shards. So without further delay, let's get right into looking at the weapon. The Skyburner's Oath exotic perk is Slug Rifle. This weapon lobs large, explosive, seeking slugs when you're firing from the hip. When you're aiming down sights, the slugs travel fast and straight with higher damage and a lower rate of fire. The secondary perk is For the Empire. This weapon is full auto, does extra damage to Cabal and penetrates phalanx shields. This is definitely an invader weapon, with an added bonus if you're up against the Cabal. Frankly, we're not going to spend too much time looking at this weapon. It's been out for 4 years, everyone and their mums has got one. We'll say it's good against Cabal and that's really about it. So, regardless of the build, it'll only be a decent pick in the fraction of Gambit games where you're not against the Hive. Our Hunter's exotic perk is the Probability Matrix. Increases the chaining capabilities of Arcbolt Grenade and has a chance to recharge it each time it deals damage. A full chain always recharges. With a more powerful grenade thanks to the Lucky Raspberry, we'll aim for a Reaper build. Our grenade's higher chance of chaining and recharge will help us deal widespread damage, allowing our teammates to soak up the motes with ease. Pairing this with mid-tree arc gives us the perk Ebb and Flow. Hit a target with an arc ability to electrify them. Meleeing electrified enemies disorients them and grants grenade, melee and dodge energy. So we can toss a grenade, electrify our enemies, smack them in the face and gain more power for the next smackdown. Rinse, repeat and be ready to slap the Primeval harder than a base. Our weapons are the Heritage Shotgun in our kinetic slot, the Iclos SMG in our energy slot and the Anarchy Grenade Launcher for the sole purpose of heavy damage to the Primeval. If you can, I'd recommend using weapons with the Demolitionist perk, which grant grenade energy with each kill. That will help us keep up the pressure by repeatedly lobbing grenades on our enemies. We'll want to boost our discipline rank up high, and for the rest, we have Ashes to Assets, Submachine Gun Loader, Fast Ball, Shotgun Scavenger, Grenade Launcher Scavenger, and Explosive Finisher. Other mods I'd highly recommend for this build that I don't have are Energy Converter, Heal Thyself, and Firepower, which would replace Explosive Finisher as it does a better job at a lesser cost. To be honest, this build is pretty lackluster. It had its moments. Dealing with ads was a breeze, so the motes were plentiful, but the grenade's effectiveness stopped dead in their tracks when pitted against yellow bars. It just wasn't up to the task like other builds are. Nothing significant stood out to me, but I guess it's to be expected. A Hunter grenade build is pretty much doomed from the start. The subclass options just don't offer the capability to make your grenades a viable threat. I won't write this off as a complete dud just yet though, as I haven't been able to make the build I really wanted to because of the mods that I'm missing. They could be the key that provides the little extra power needed to make this a decent build. Our next build is the Actium War Rig. Steadily reloads a portion of your equipped auto rifle or machine gun's magazine from reserves. As this is a weapon focused build, it was hard to settle on any particular role, so we'll call this an all-rounder. We've gone with Bottom Tree Solar for its Sun Warrior perk, which generates sunspots that give increased weapon damage, as well as increased recharge on melee and grenade energy. The idea of this build is to never need to reload again. As such, the perk rolls you have on your weapons drastically change the effectiveness of this build. Obviously, we'll be sticking with auto rifles and machine guns, but the perks we're using today are 4th times the Charm and Rampage. These perks are great for this build, as 4th times the Charm adds 2 bullets per headshot back into our magazine, and Rampage will steadily increase damage as we get kills up to 3 stacks of Rampage, totaling a significant 33% additional damage to our constant barrage. So, we'll be using the Heritage for our quick burst damage at close range to finish off yellow bars. Otherwise, our energy weapon is a curated role age-old Bond, and our power weapon is the Xenophage. I did try the Thunderlord in our power slot at first because I thought it might work well on large swaths of enemies, with the lightning strikes granted with each kill, but the secondary perk, which increases reload speed with kills, just becomes null and void with the build. I found the Xenophage was just objectively better at the job. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Our mods are Machine Gun Ammo Finder, Loader, Reserves and Scavenger, Sustained Charge, High Energy Fire, Perpetuation, Taking Charge, and a few intellect mods to finish. This build actually surprised me. It's nice to not have to rely on abilities, only needing to count on your objective gaming skills to be effective. It's easy to keep the Rampage ability going without having to stop and lose that momentum to reload just as the fight starts to get good. And when using the Xenophage, the enemy didn't stand a chance. I got multiple team wipes by just blasting them from across the map, and they had no recourse because I wasn't worried about having to stop the carnage to load another mag, which with the Xenophage would have been more than enough time for them to return fire and wipe me out.
I'm sorry, were they saying something? 'Cause they're dead now.
For our final build, we have the Karnstein Armlets. Stein? Whatever. The armlets come with the perk Vampire's Caress. Melee kills instantly restore a large amount of health and continue to restore health afterwards for a short duration. Since the armlets have a melee based perk, we'll have to get up close and personal with our enemies. Just the kind of environment a collector thrives in. We're going to go all in and make this a close quarters build. We're using Top Tree Arc, mainly for the perk Chain Lightning. This electrocuting melee ability chains lightning from the struck target to nearby enemies. We'll also make sure to also choose the Arc Bolt Grenade ability for more chained lightning. We'll be utilising the chained lightning in our melee and grenade attacks to quickly charge through the enemy hordes, which will also keep our health topped up whilst we clean up the moats. As this is a strictly close quarters build, we'll want to avoid invaders at all cost. There's no shame in hiding when we are full on moats. Your team will thank you later. For the weapons, we'll want the Monte Carlo, as dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. Its secondary perk, Mark of Chain, also grants increased damage from melee kills and kills with this weapon. Also, melee kills grant ammo for this weapon. This is a fantastic pairing with our melee focus, encouraging swapping between the two regularly for maximum effect. We'll be using the 7th Seraph shotgun as a high damage backup and falling guillotine for bosses and blockers. Our mods are Hands-On, Shield Break Charge, Focusing Strike, Sword Reserves, Melee Damage Resistance, Radiant Light, Recuperation, Sustained Charge, Striking Light, and pile on those strength mods to get to tier 10. An ideal mod for this build instead of Striking Light is Heavy Handed, as this will grant half your melee energy in return for a stack of light, but I do not have this mod. As a collector, this is a genuinely solid build. So long as you avoid invaders, you should have no problem racking up that moat counter. Let your teammates deal with invaders, you aren't up to the task. Additionally, if you're up against the meatball, the sword isn't going to be doing you much good. So maybe consider switching to something with a bit more versatility, like a grenade launcher. The instant healing is great, but the build really shines with the further gradual healing that comes afterwards. So long as there are adds to kill, you shouldn't ever have to worry about your health falling too low, which is essential for rounding up the stray motes while under enemy fire. Plus, the gauntlets glow when the effect is active, which just looks really nice. So overall, this week Xur has a mixed selection of mid-tier exotics. There's certainly nothing here that's going to break the meta, but there's enough to experiment with if you're looking to try something different or practice some alternative styles to Gambit roles. I thought the Titan build would be a Reaper/Collector, but it turned out to be a deadly invader, if you can bag the heavy ammo. These are the sort of surprises I love coming across when making these videos, and it inspires me to keep being imaginative with my builds. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think of these builds and Xur's exotics, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you'd like to see more of me, you can find me on Twitch, where I like to chill in whatever Destiny has in store. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.